is ink on paper the only way that printers should operate? Well, no, they must move into new areas and develop new sources of revenue. They cannot exist only putting ink or toner or inkjet on paper, because anyone can buy a machine that does that, and every printer is a high-quality printer. Have you ever met a printer with a sign over the door that says mediocre printing? They're all high quality. They all provide great service. And if they do that, then what differentiates one printer from another printer? And so my premise is that printers must do new things in new ways to increase revenue, increase profit. Otherwise, they will not be in the printing business.
Today, print is part of a process, part of a much bigger process, and generally it's marketing, media, communications. And this is changing how we look at print, what print is, and how we use print, and changing who printers are. And I think printers as they stand today are becoming very quickly dinosaurs. And I think print is changing so quickly that some of these guys are not actually going to see it happen. What's going to change is technology into more web-based internet global portal type applications. If we look at somebody like, for instance, and I hope they don't mind me using them as an example, somebody like Vistaprint. Vistaprint are a totally web-to-print based organization. The amount of orders and the average order value, which incidentally is sub 10 euros, the average order value that they get in terms of thousands of orders per day is unbelievable. And they print at 2 locations globally, in the States and in Europe. And would you believe that they print analog? They don't have digital print, they print analog. But the technology that's enabled them get the market that they want to get is all web-based.
So in many cases, printers are selling through a channel, through some intermediary, and the challenge is that the intermediaries, their focus is not necessarily the same as printers. So I think the biggest problem is getting to the end user. If you understand, I mean, we source print, we source a lot of litho print, but we also are obviously moving much more into the world of digital. For the purposes of this show, we actually created what we've got called a dynamic brochure builder, and in the course of a month, we developed a way of actually pulling brochures together bespokely and offering them online. Now, you know, somebody could have come to us and said, how about this as a technology? How about this as a service? And we would have paid good money for that.
Can I just say, just coming back on that, I think the danger with using intermediate channels, print brokers, print management companies, the difficulty for the printer is the printer remains a commodity price product. And so if you work with those kind of people, you haven't leveraged yourself out of the hole where you have to compete on price on the product alone.
So if you now have done the arithmetic, about half the printing in the world is gone from the commercial market. So commercial printers are fighting for less printing than ever before. This has then led to fewer printers. If there is less printing, we don't need as many printers. If we don't need as many printers, we don't need as many printing presses. We don't need as many paper companies. Oh, God forbid, we don't need as many consultants. And so the entire world, like dominoes falling over, starts to change. So the first thing that printers have to realize is that there is less print, and that if they are going to survive and hopefully prosper, they've got to find new ways of making money.
You know, look around the halls, there's so many different technologies, there's so many things that you can produce today, and if all you've produced up until now is litho brochures, then you really need to be looking at being able to produce more products. Because if you want to stay in printing, you won't stay in it for just printing litho brochures.
The real money is in the work that is complicated, where customers perceive it to be complex and difficult and are willing to pay a premium for it, such as database work, fulfillment, mailing, creative services. Those are the things that customers perceive to be complicated.
You know, print in its conventional sense, you know, get this guys, it's dying. It's dying out. But print in other areas is dynamic, fast-moving, you know, get with the plan, get with the program, move forward with it. There are loads and loads of opportunities out there, but it is changing. And the world as we've seen it and as we've grown up in it is changing.